researching it and realized that it's absolutely delicious.
Put that on the B-roll.
Right.
We're going to need more napkins in here.
Yeah.
This season of the SBA Roadshow is sponsored by Ready Capital.
I'm Dustin Baker. We're on a mission to build community through shared story. The road is calling. We're going to do some fun stuff, and you really ought to watch it because it's going to be amazing. And all the cool kids are doing it. So join me on the SBA Roadshow. Hey, Josh.
Great to see you,
man. Thank you for doing this.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to checking out your place.
Absolutely. I'm Josh Poticha. I'm a restaurant owner in Salt Lake City of Brick's Corner Pizzeria.
Well, welcome to Brick's Corner.
Well, Josh, we are really grateful that you've sat down to join us for this. And I'm going to tell you, we've been waiting for a little while for the setup, and I've been looking at this pizza right here. And so I want to ask you a lot of questions, but we're starting the interview with the pizza. So I hope you'll enjoy some of this with me. And maybe you can tell me, as we're starting the interview by putting this in our mouths, what's special about this pizza? Because this is not just a regular old slice of pie. I want you to tell me what makes this special.
Absolutely, yeah. So big thing about Brick's Corner is it's all about the corner. And as you can see where the cheese kind of hits it on both sides. It's kind of, you eat this pizza in reverse. You go from eating the pizza from the crust to the center of the pizza.
I was about to do it wrong.
You can go any which way you want. It's all delicious. But growing up in Chicago, I grew up eating deep dish pizza and found out about Detroit style pizza and started researching it and realized that it's absolutely delicious.
Put that on the B-roll.
Right.
We're going to need more napkins in here.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's so delicious though. Oh.
It's a treat to actually sit down and enjoy a piece of my pizza.
Well, it was funny because we were sitting here, it's in my nostrils. So when you come to Brick's Corner, I want you to be really careful to open your mouth really wide before you start the pizza. But we're sitting here getting ready, and a pizza comes to the table on the other side of this glass, and you just stopped. And you spent a minute staring at it, and you said, man, that looks good. So I love to sit with somebody who just really loves their craft to the point where, like, you just, there's like a boyish fancy with it, you know? So that was really fun to see. So we said, well, let's just bring some out to the table.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I spent some time before I opened this restaurant. I went to Italy, tried a lot of different flavors of pizzas in Italy. And then obviously growing up in Chicago, I know pizza from that area. And then I hired a chef in Chicago who specializes in just pizza. And we spent a lot of time working together, coming up with ideas for, you know, what would be an incredible new addition to the pizza world.
And so it's not just some style that's been done before to some extent. So
Absolutely, yeah. Completely.
So tell me kind of the process of creating something that, I mean, it's a well-known genre, but it's really a different approach to the genre. I'm gonna start eating from the middle now because I'm embarrassing myself.
Yeah. But so the process of making the dough is we make the dough. We have to let it sit for 24 hours, and what that does is it lets the flavors get more complex than just the dough. In the dough is just really high-quality flour, yeast, olive oil, and then water. But the water is the key ingredient. Realized early on in the pizza making world that water changes the complexity of the pizza completely. So we ended up having to install a full reverse osmosis water system here that we just send right to our mixer to create this delicious dough. But once it's done in the walk-in for proofing, we take it out and we put it into pans, steel pans. This goes back to the Detroit era when they created this style of pizza. So they took the pizza dough, it was actually a Sicilian style pizza. And somebody in the 40s at a auto manufacturing assembly line took it and put it into a parts pan, literally cleaned out a parts pan. And they put their grandmother's Sicilian dough, they pushed it out into it and cooked it. Well, there's a reaction from the steel of the pan, the way it crisps the sides. And then they ran the cheese all the way to the edge, and then you can see it kind of
It's like
all
this
the way down.
big,
Yeah.
so like when I make a grilled cheese sandwich and it comes onto the cast iron out of the edge, that's the best part, is the part that burns onto the cast iron.
Absolutely.
And that's kind of what's going on here on the side of
Right,
it.
yeah. So you get a caramelized cheese crown is what they call it all the way around. So
So do you think the auto parts guy in Detroit was like really an inventive cook, or was it just dumb luck?
I think it was absolutely dumb luck, yeah. But incredible luck.
Better be lucky
Created
than good
something
sometimes.
delicious,
We're going to have to stop the interview down for a minute while this is so good.
Oh, this is a treat.
You want to see the kitchen?
Yeah, can we check it out?
Yeah. This was interesting. When I was designing, I'm like, well, I know that to-go business is going to be a big factor. So we can load it up, all our to-go food, right here in the kitchen, and then the host is right
just
here.
pull it out of the
Just
other
pull it out.
side.
So it's going in one end and going out the other
So you don't
end.
have to go back and forth and back and
Absolutely.
forth. Just the workflow here is like really,
Yeah.
well, I mean, you can tell you've been in the kitchen for a good part of your life
Yeah.
because you're like, you know how you want to build
Which
it.
was awesome. This is a dream kitchen. I mean, I have chefs here who worked all around the city, and they get here and they're like, we want to take care of this place.
Yeah.
They're scrubbing it down like no tomorrow. They're like, this is an amazing kitchen to work in. And then, of course, you know, the beautiful pizza. It's all about the corner.
Man. So you really kind of worked your way into ownership, and this isn't your first restaurant either. So kind of walk me from your love for and passion just for food and presentation, obviously, and all these flavors through kind of working in the service industry, which is a hard industry to work your way through, into small business ownership. What kind of walk me through all that?
So after completing culinary school, worked in a few different fine dining restaurants, incredible restaurants, famous chefs, but I felt that there was a piece of the industry I was truly missing that I didn't learn in school, which was the business side. So I ended up applying with Marriott International, and I got a job working for Marriott, and they moved me up really quickly throughout the system. And within a short time, I was an executive chef in Denver for Marriott. And when I was an executive chef, I was able to really control multiple outlets, multiple restaurants, banquet facilities, doing banquets for over 1,000 people. Wow. And then it gave me the education I needed, that I knew that I'd be ready to actually go into the business world on my own. So then in '08, during crisis, you know, people were losing their jobs, and I said, there's no better time for me to give this a try. So I left Marriott and I went to South Carolina, and I started my first restaurant.
So why South Carolina? Was there any connection to that place?
Yeah, my father actually, he retired to South Carolina, so we would frequent it when I was younger. So I was familiar with the area. So I went out there and actually was going to do it in Hilton Head, but it was a business decision because of the what was happening throughout the country economically, that I decided in '08 to go to a resort town was not a good decision. So I went to a town that was pretty close, about an hour away, called Beaufort, which has two large military bases there, Parris Island Marine Corps, and then the Marine Corps Air Station. So I knew they were going to have a permanent amount of population that would still be getting a paycheck and be going out. So if I was going to give it a try, that's where I decided to do it. So
that's '08, and you still have that restaurant.
still do.
Yeah. And I think you told me that's a pretty busy restaurant now.
It sure
it's doing
is.
really well. And so then take me from there to how do you wind up here in Salt Lake City?
Yeah, so just growing up, I've always been a skier and snowboarder, and would go on different trips throughout the United States, and never went to Utah. So I had a friend in South Carolina who said, you got to check out Utah. So about 6 years ago, came out here for a ski trip to Snowbird, and I was blown away. was like I could land into an international airport, be on the mountain from the East Coast by 1 p.m., and still get into the city to see a show and grab a great dinner. And I said, this is unreal. So I decided to frequent it more often. I would come out here as much as I possibly could. This was my getaway. So whenever I got any time from the restaurant, I would come out here and I'd just explore the mountains, explore the city, and I realized that there was a need for this. The city needed local neighborhood restaurants.
Yeah.
And then the wheels started turning. Yeah. And then the ideas started to form in my mind.
And in 3 months, I think I've read 3 or 4 articles from kind of local publications. You've been on the news. So like this is sort of taken off pretty fast. Did you expect it to take, I know you believe in this,
Yeah.
but did you expect what's happened in the last 3 months since you opened the store?
So, when I opened, I didn't expect it to take off in that sense with with social media and television and whatnot, but I didn't open it to not be successful.
Right.
So I was very, very surprised when I would get the responses from the media outlets, but definitely I was not surprised when I had the customers come in the door and then embrace it for what it was, because I knew I had something really, truly awesome to offer. So.
I wanted to ask that because, I mean, you had a decision to make. Well, walk me through the project. What all so you got an SBA loan to purchase the building and to do the build out, but kind of what was this before you bought it, and kind of what was the process of turning it into what it is now, what we're seeing today?
Yeah, so when I started looking in real estate that was available in the area, it wasn't a whole lot, but I found this small antique store, and that's what this used to be. And it was a garage actually from the 40s that somebody had turned into an antique store. Hence why I wanted to keep the garage doors. I wanted to bring kind of just the feeling of what it used to be. It was a service station and then an antique store. So I found the building, and then I would come out here and I would monitor what was happening in the neighborhood, what the traffic count was. I would actually walk up and down the streets and count how many parking spaces there were. Because being in a city, I knew I wasn't going to have a large parking lot. So parking would have been a big issue, but I counted 50 open spots within 1 block range at any time of the day. And I said, there's an opportunity here. And then I decided to move forward on it. Contacted the SBA office and went from there.
Was there one kind of idea or one part of this concept that stood out that you believed in so strongly that you knew it was worth taking that risk at that point?
It was the dream to own my own building, to put my own business in it, which I'd never had that opportunity to do before. And this was the first opportunity that I had in my life to actually do that, to live my dream, to own my own property, to build a business, to employ people, and to give a great product to the community.
Would this project have been possible without kind of the SBA program?
Would not have.
Yeah.
Yeah, plain and simple, it would not have. Yeah.
So you got a 504 loan, I think, on this building. And what kind of were the advantages of that versus going kind of a typical bank financing route that you might get from any local commercial bank?
So the interesting thing was when I went to the bank to talk to them about the programs was how welcoming the bank was with me in this process, and understood the situation I was in, being a small business owner, trying to create something. And instead of going to a traditional style loan, I mean, it was really working one-on-one with a local bank that went through the SBA program and really step by step talked me through each step of the process to make sure I was designing the idea in my mind, but would actually work in reality. And I felt that very comfortable with that program. And I thought it was just where I needed to be to create this.
And it took you how long to kind of be in the black here?
So it was interesting. When I opened up, I didn't foresee it to be as soon as it was. So I had 2 weeks in the red in December, and then pretty soon in January, we immediately went in the black, and we've been there ever since.
I'll knock with you.
Thank you.
What are your hopes for the role that this business will will have in this community as you look kind of forward to the future of this business and being here?
Yeah, there's no doubt when I chose this location, it's a small 3-block area, commercial buildings, but there's not a lot of commercial activity happening over here. And I feel that this restaurant can become an anchor for this little neighborhood stretch of commercial properties. I can see competition coming in closer to me, and I welcome it, actually. I think it'll help me become a better businessman, and it will actually increase the value of this property, and it'll be good for the neighborhood. So I like to see that this becomes an anchor for this community, for this commercial area.
Have you been able to use a lot of local companies in terms of finishing all this out? And,
So, you know, the biggest challenge I had when I opened this restaurant was pizza boxes. Pizza boxes.
Because you don't have any box that
Well, there's the rectangle shape of it. The other issue is that the to-go business is up 500% this year. So everybody is sucking up every box. Or all the boxes come from China. So they have to wait for the cargo ships. And then from 2020, everything was shut down, so everything is backed up there. So I couldn't even get in these boxes. So I actually contacted a local manufacturer here. And it's going to cost me more, but it's an American-made product, and they're making me custom boxes with my logos on them just for Bricks Corner.
And you'll have all the supply you need because you're not having supply chain issues and stuff like that. Have you got the boxes yet?
I haven't got them yet. They just got the stamp and whatnot, and they're starting to make them.
That's awesome.
I had to get 3,000 of them to start. So guess where they're going to be? In my house.
That's exactly.
Yeah.
What if there's one lesson from the last year and all the adversity from the year that you will take forward in the future for good from this season of history that's been so hard? What would that be?
To be where I am today, I couldn't be here without have fallen in love, actually, to tell you the truth. I fell in love, I got engaged in this city, and it's allowed me to see through challenges that I never thought possible. That to have the strong family behind me that believes in what I am doing and that is there for me when I don't have a good day is priceless. And I am so grateful for that, to have that in my life.
And man, congratulations on this beautiful property and this delicious piece of pie
Right?
that I just had. And we're going to turn these cameras off so I can have some more of it here.
Sounds good.
And I can get it all over my face, and no one will see it. No one will ever know. Thanks so much, man. Can't think of a better way to have started in Salt Lake than some of the best pizza that I've ever had. So we're looking forward to seeing more of the city, meeting some more new friends. We hope you'll come along.
So when I was looking at the building, it was an antique shop. The building ended right where that wall was, so it was just the kitchen pretty much. Really small shop. She had a box of license plates sitting there on the ground, and I'm looking, and she wasn't budging on the price at all. I was furious. I'm like, I was just working it, and she just wasn't. And I'm
Of the building or of the license plates?
On the building.
Okay.
So I said, well, I'm going to want that. So I pointed at the box of license plates. Then I pointed at the payphone. I said, well, I want the payphone too. This is years ago, and I'm like throwing it. Once I bought the building, I put it in my garage. I never looked at it again.
You just needed to have something.
I had to have it.
I need a win. A small W.
So now as we're building, I start opening up these boxes, and I'm looking at these license plates, and they're all from the 50s and 60s. And they're all Utah.
Awesome. Since the shape
So
of
then
the
I
city.
just took it, I gave it to a carpenter. I said, make a frame the shape of Utah, and let's put them all in there. And
awesome.
every single one of them is from the state of Utah. I
That
thought it was
looks really
incredible.
cool. Yeah.
So we added that to it.
Subscribe to our newsletter at sbaroadshow.com/subscribe to see where we'll be next.